Hey friends, and welcome to the channel. It's a sunny day in Stockholm today and we are reviewing Brasserie Astoria. This place is run and operated by Bjorn Franzen, currently the only 3-star Michelin chef in Sweden with restaurant Franzen. He also has more Michelin star restaurants across the globe. Very excited to visit his brasserie. Let's go in. The table setup looks nice and clean and gives a very comfortable feeling in a restaurant. Let's see the menu, shall we? The menu is divided in 4 different parts, starting with the snacks and moving on to starters, main courses and desserts. There's also a cheese trolley available and also some coffee candy from a trolley as well. I think I'll go with a few bits of snacks, a starter, and I saw that the monkfish rossini on the menu, so I definitely want to have that one. And let's see how it goes after that, if I have room for dessert. For snacks, I went with the English cheddar goucher and the Rockefeller oyster. From a visual appearance, they both look very good and appetizing. Let's dig in. I really like filled pâte choux, and using the English cheddar here is a really smart move. Because cheese is quite fulfilling and it can be a little bit, a lot when you eat it. But actually the cheddar cheese has a natural acidity that really breaks through its own fatness, which is really good here. And then also you have the spiciness from the jalapeno and you have the sweetness here from the honey. So this is a really good snack which I enjoy. Alright, let's try the oyster. So I really like Rockefeller or stuffed type of oysters. I think that if you do that right, you can really lift the oysters, and it's a really good gateway in for people who may not like eating raw oysters. So excited to try this one out. There's plenty of filling in here, and you can really get the duja and the chili type of flavor here, a lot of hollandaise sauce and all that, so that's good. What is missing a little bit for me is the actual oyster. I feel that it is a little bit lost here with all the other ingredients that's going on. And maybe it's more about the proportion here. I think, it's so much of the filling and the oyster is maybe a little bit in minority here. So yeah, it's a little bit lost and I don't really get that oyster flavor, which I was really hoping to, go through the whole concept of this dish. For starter, I went with the snails. Now, snails can be a little bit scary for people, but if they're cooked right, they're really tender and they have a very mild flavor, so it's really nothing to be afraid of. They were accompanied by some bread, and this was the only time we saw bread throughout the meal. And that was a little bit of a miss for me because I really would have liked some also with the main course, which I will come back to later. This is really good. The flavor, as expected, is really coming out from all the floral notes, from the parsley and the lavender and the thyme that they're using here also. And I can definitely get a citrus type of scent, but I don't really get that much acidity, which is not needed in this dish. I mean, it's very hearty and it's nice. It's buttery, and using the bread to mop up all of that sauce that's underneath the snail. It's really good. I have difficulty to fault this dish at all. Great. If you like the content on this channel, please hit subscribe and push that like button. It's really the best way to support me to be able to review more interesting restaurants. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the main course. Excited about that one. Looks very nice. I mean, you can see plenty of grated truffles on the dish and some herbs. You see the fish underneath there, plenty of sauce, which I like. I don't really see the foie, but I guess it's underneath there somewhere. The dish is served with a silver onion gratin with some what it looks like crunchy breadcrumbs on top. Alright, let's dig in. So first impression is it's a very light dish. It's much lighter than I expected it to be. The sauce has nice flavor, but it's not as reduced as I thought it would be. It doesn't have that much of a truffle sense that I was expecting also. When it comes to the monkfish itself, it's two smaller pieces. It's supposed to be grilled. I don't really get any grilled sensation on it, actually. I like that they kept the toast on top of the dish instead of underneath it as it usually is. And I found the foil, it's also there. It is a very small piece though, so I was expecting a little bit more here for the price tag of this dish. But overall, it's a nice dish. The sauce is a little bit light, it could be a little bit thicker also, just to capture it a little bit more. Definitely missing the bread. Green beans could have been cooked a little bit more to my liking, but it's a solid main course.
Nötter. Det är en morotskaka, äppelkaka med kanel, makaron med juice och passionsfrukt. Sen har vi en mörk chokladtryffel, en med körsbär i mitten, dammsugare, kanelé med rom och vaniljsmak och hallongrotta.
I went with the macaron with yuzu and passion fruit and the cannelé. I absolutely love cannelés, so I'm hoping this one will be good. And finishing off the meal with a double espresso. The cannelé tasted really good, and I got the really strong notes of vanilla and rum that they used in this one. I did miss a little bit of that crispy exterior that you get from a freshly baked cannelé, but overall it was pretty good. The macaron was nice and crispy, though I did miss a little bit of that acidity that I was expecting from both the passion fruit and from the yuzu. It was a little bit too sweet overall, yeah. So what did I think then about my visit to Brasserie Astoria? Well, I think that the snacks were reasonably priced and the flavor was good on them. I preferred the cheddar cheese gauchers before the Rockefeller oysters, but you know, overall that was good. The snails, also as a starter, good on price and flavor, spot on. I didn't expect anything more from that dish. If I'm picky, maybe another type of bread would have lifted the dish to, you know, that next level of mopping up all those juices from the snails and the butter. But that was good. Moving on to the main course, for the price that I paid for that one, and looking at what you got on the plate, it was pretty small pieces of fish. I didn't really get the grilled sensation of it. The foil was very small and that was finished, you know, halfway through the meal, so I was expecting a little bit more from that dish overall, though I have to say it was, you know, well put together, and I appreciated the silver onion gratin that really, you know, accompanied the dish overall for a good purpose. So let's move into my rating of this restaurant. So when I'm scoring a restaurant, I'm using a 100-point scale here, starting at 50. So where do I put Astoria today? Well, I'm putting the food here at 86 points. I think, for a brasserie, the food delivered a lot today, and I think this is very much the high end of what a brasserie can be. So well done on that point. When it comes to the service, I'm putting that in more or less the same ballroom, so on 85 points here. I think the service was friendly and attentive, and it was what I expected from a restaurant like this. When it comes to the value of the restaurant, and you can see the total bill here coming up in front of you, I think that everything was fairly priced, except maybe though the monkfish dish. So I know that you're using expensive ingredients here, like the foil and the truffles and the fish itself, right? But I was expecting a little bit more from this, and with the price level, a little bit more generous on the ingredients. As here would have notched up the numbers a bit here. So the value for this brasserie I'm putting at 83 points here altogether. So when it comes to the total score of Brasserie Astoria, that will end up on 85 points, which I think is really good. So if you are in Stockholm and you want to look for a great place to eat, Brasserie Astoria is definitely a place worth visiting. Okay friends, thanks for watching this video and see you next time.